stitch after another, and welcome on this very grey Tuesday afternoon at the end of October. I don't know what day I'm going to put this up, but you're very welcome here, and do go and get yourself a drink. To be fair, I don't think that this video is going to be terribly long, but I do just need a little slurp of coffee. I don't think I'm going to call this a podcast. It's a little bit of a knitty catch-up, I think. I'm not wearing anything hand knitted today. I did put a hand knitted sweater on this morning, but actually it's quite mild out for the time of year. I mean, considering we're heading into November, I think it's 14 degrees outside, which is just amazing, isn't it? I've just been watching Hille, the Danish knitter. I'm not sure whether she's called the Danish knitter, but she is Danish and she does knit and she does travel logs as well. She was commenting on the fact that last week it was half-term break in Denmark, and it's half-term for me this week, and how warm it was. And I think it is just a symptom of our tragic global warming, isn't it? That, you know, our autumns are getting more and more delayed. There's still an awful lot of leaves on the trees in my area of the United Kingdom. A lot have fallen now, but some of them are still so green, they haven't even turned colour. But anyway, what have I got to show you? I have got 2 finished objects and a couple of whips and an acquisition, which I shall talk about in a minute. So I think I showed these socks last time. I think I might have knit one. They do need blocking, they haven't been blocked. The second one came off the needles yesterday. So these are for a subscriber of mine, and she's asked me to knit 3 pairs of socks. I've done the colour that spoke to me the least first, these greys. They are for her husband, I believe, and these were the biggest that I've got to do, a 26 centimetre foot. So yes, those are those. They're knit in Drops Fable, which is such a really good value yarn. It's a little bit rustic for my feet personally, but I do believe it softens up a bit with washing and blocking. So I'll be interested to see what they're like. But yes, 2 socks down, 4 socks to go. I'll talk about future projects in a minute, actually. Yes, so that's those. And then I've knit a little bear, and this little bear, I don't know whether to call him William or Winston. A w sound is definitely speaking to me. His arms and legs move. I've knit him on, I think, either 2 or 2.25mm needles, and he is knit using some yarn that I had left over from my daughter's Christmas socks last year, which have got this kind of slubby thing going on. There's little bits of black. I don't know whether the camera's picking that up for you. And then the scarf is knit with a little scrap of Lay Family yarn, the blue that was in my prize that I knit my socks in, and I think he looks really cute. Yeah, I do love him. So comment down below for me, William or Winston. I'm thinking William, the more I think about it. So those are the only finished objects that I have got at this moment in time. I do have one work in progress that is almost finished. And I have been working on this for a while. I started it on the 5th of June. And I know it's the 5th of June because I was in hospital waiting to have my partial nephrectomy. And I knit a little bit of the back shoulder. This is the ballet wrap from Pearls, from Knitting for Olive. And I have made good progress with this since the last time I showed it. So I took this away to Cornwall with me. I went to Cornwall for a couple of days last week, but I didn't read ahead in the pattern and realised that I needed to change needle size quite soon. So I wasn't able to do that. But what I was able to do was the sleeve. And since I've come home, I have just got to the point at the bottom of the ballet wrap where I have changed to the smaller needle size, and I will be knitting the first tie and then attaching that. I think you knit it on as you go. I can't quite remember because this is the second one of these that I have knit. I am absolutely loving this combination of the Knitting for Olive, silk mohair and the merino. The colourway that I've got is ballerina, and I think, seeing as this is for a little girl, it's going to see her through until early adulthood, I think. I've done the adult extra small size. Apparently she's got long limbs and she's quite tall for her age, so I think this will see her for a few years yet. But it's got this gorgeous saddle shoulder shaping. Can you see there? Just here. The light is terrible, I am sorry. But yes, I'm really pleased with that. So I've got a little bit of faffing to do at the bottom to do the ties, and then the other sleeve. I should get that finished in the next couple of weeks, which will be a relief, because I think my friend would like to give this to her granddaughter for Christmas. So that'll be something that I can cross off my to-do list. I think on the video before last that I did on knitting on this channel, I was suffering from overwhelm. I'd got so many projects on the go, I didn't know where to start, and I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed and anxious. And of course, this is a hobby that should bring us joy, isn't it? It shouldn't make us feel anxious. It's counterproductive. Yes, so that is that. Now, I have started another work in progress. I really have not got very far with it. Let me get my pattern out. So this is the Barnacle Shaw, which was in a magazine years ago. I think it was in the Knitter magazine many years ago. I do believe that it is a free pattern on Ravelry, and I purchased the yarn for this at the Summer Wool Festival, and I have shown all the yarn before. There are 4 colours, and these are my colours. So I've got this, and then I've got like an ombre and greens going on there. And the yarn that I'm using is from Ducky Darlings. It's their 4-ply fingering weight merino, and it's a modular knit. I've got loads of these to do, and I'm not quite sure which is the right way. I think that is. So I've done one little barnacle, and then I've done the second one, and then what I have to do is pick up stitches along this edge and this edge, and then my little barnacle will be pointing in a different direction. Yes, I've got quite a lot of those to do, but it's quite an interesting pattern. I do need to concentrate on it a little bit. Have I got any more works in progress? No. Well, I mean, I have, but not new ones that you haven't already seen. Let's talk about future plans next. I am actually, after all this time, going to jump on the Ronculus bandwagon. Here it is, in case you haven't seen it. The pattern was first published in 2017. When I looked this morning, it has got over 26,000 projects, or 26,000 people have knitted it since 2017. Over 100 just in October alone. I am going to knit my Ronculus in some yarn that I bought when I went to my yarn retreat. So just put my glasses on so I can read. So this is Lay Family Yarn, Baby Suri Alpaca and Mulberry Silk. So it's 74% Baby Suri Alpaca, 26% Mulberry Silk, and 50 grams is 400 meters. So it's a lace weight. So it is a bit like the Kid Silk Mohair in terms of its weight. I have caked one up already, and I am hoping to cast that on. Look at the gorgeous colours of that. Reminds me of mocha and hot chocolate, and yeah, I am very excited about starting that. I'm going to chart my progress in a video if you think you might be interested in that. I've put together my needles that I need. So I've got 6mm needles. I haven't quite worked out what size I'm going to do, but I do know that I'm going to do the larger neck. You have an option of a smaller neck or a larger neck, and I'm going to do the larger neck because I don't like things really tight around here. And I think particularly as it is potentially a little bit of an itchy fibre, although I don't think it will be with all that alpaca and silk. It shouldn't aggravate my skin too much. I'm going to do it on the 6mm needles. I've looked at quite a lot of the project notes, and a lot of people are saying that they've done it on smaller needles because they want a denser fabric. I'm hoping to go for a very floaty, gauzy, almost see-through fabric, and I want it to be very light and airy, and I think the 6mm needles will work for that. If you know me, I don't do gauge swatches, so I'm just going to hope for the best. I should have enough yarn. I've got 800 meters. I'm going to do it maybe a little bit more cropped than the pattern calls for, because as it's going to be so see-through, I will be wearing a vest under it or a t-shirt under it, or I will wear it over a dress. I've got a beautiful, I haven't worn it in the winter yet because I only bought it this summer. I've got a beautiful long black linen dress, sleeveless black linen dress from COS, and I can just picture this over the top of it, and yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So that is a future plan. Have I got any other future plans? Yes, so I have got to knit some more socks, and I'm going to go with this colourway next for the lady that's asked me to knit 3 pairs of socks. So I think this is going to give kind of like a little bit of a stripy Fair Isle effect. It's got a little bit more interest in it than the grey stripe, and for some reason this feels softer. That's bizarre. Same yarn, feels softer, don't know why. So that will be going on the needles. Now, before I show you my acquisition, oh, I have been a naughty girl. I've bought so much yarn this year. I think one of the videos I might need to do is reflecting on the goals that I set myself back in January, my knitting goals, which was to not buy, one of them was to not buy any unnecessary yarn. Oh my, have we purchased this year? We have certainly purchased. Going to 2 yarn shows didn't help. Going on a yarn retreat didn't help. I would say that I have added to my stash rather than detracted from it. That is most definitely the case. But last week I had the pleasure of taking my dad to stay with some family friends in Cornwall. Me and my husband drove down and spent a lovely few days with some friends of ours who have the most stunning property. I will link it in the description box because you can actually, they've got holiday lets in their grounds. They've got a beautiful farmhouse in 17 acres of land that they used to run as a B&B, but they don't want the responsibility of that now. And because they've got so much land, there are the land is woodland, and there's a little river running through the property. It's absolutely beautiful. There are holiday lets, and you might be interested in that. If you'd like to see any footage of the Cornwall break, I've put a video up on my other channel, Paper and Twine, which is I do a bit more vloggy and paper crafting stuff over there. So if you think that's your thing, do go and check that out. But our friends live not quite halfway between Truro and Falmouth. It's about 20-25 minutes to Falmouth. So of course I had to go to Stitches and Cream. So I'm here in Falmouth and I'm going to pop into Stitches and Cream. Let's see what we can see. inside now. There is some absolutely beautiful yarn. We might have to have a souvenir purchase. And I'm going to get something, I think, to make the Sophie shawl. I'll turn you over and we'll have a little look round. I've just come out and had the most lovely experience inside there, and I'll wait until I get back home to the Midlands to show you what I've purchased. It wasn't quite what I had in mind, but it is local yarn, and I've bought a sock blocker as well. So I'll show you that when I get back to the Midlands. But I'm going to go and find my husband now. He's gone off in a huff. Sadly, I picked a day that Jane doesn't work, so I couldn't meet Jane, which is a real shame. We were there Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and we came home on the Wednesday. We didn't get there till late Saturday evening, so that was no good. And then she's closed Monday and Tuesday, so I had the option of going, so she's closed Sunday and Monday. So I had the option of going Tuesday or Wednesday, and we opted to go on the Tuesday. And I'd like to thank Anton and I forget the lady's name. I'll put it on the screen. They were both very friendly and very helpful. Anton was very, very helpful. I went in with the idea that I wanted to get 600 metres of worsted weight yarn to do the Sophie shawl. And sadly, there wasn't quite enough quantity of one colour, and I didn't want to mix it. So I didn't get any worsted weight yarn, but I did get tempted by this beautiful yarn here. Oh, even now looking at it, it makes my heart sing. It really does. So I'm going to put my glasses on for this. So this is the Camel's yarn, inspired by Cornwall, and this colourway is called Falmouth Bay. Isn't that stunning? Absolutely stunning. And it's got a beautiful linen label. Might recycle that some way. The Camel's yarn, inspired by Cornwall. So this is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. This is their standard sock, 4-ply fingering weight, and it's a 425 metres to 100 grams. Now, looking at this, if I want to do the Sophie shawl, I'm going to have to hold it double, which is only going to give me DK. So I made a boo-boo really, and I think if I'm holding it double, I'm going to get a real mild effect, because if this is so variegated, I don't think it's going to give me the fabric that I want for the Sophie shawl. So do you know what? It might be a different shawl altogether, or I've got 1275 metres. It might be a garment, but I really like those colours. So that was the only purchase I made in terms of yarn. And then you might have seen these on Jane's YouTube channel. This is a sock blocker, and it says Stitches and Cream. So this is a small size. because I've got my wire blockers that I bought from Loop, and I've got the medium, the large, but I hadn't got a small. And it says this sock blocker is made locally from responsibly sourced FSC materials with a real oak veneer applied to both faces. The natural surface has already been hand treated with 3 coats of Danish oil to ensure its longevity. And then it says soak the sock in warm water for 15 minutes, carefully lift the sock from the water and gently squeeze to remove excess water. And then it says try making a sock roll like a Swiss roll using a tea towel and squeezing this. I do that. Do you do that? Do that. Slide your sock onto the blocker and allow to air dry. Think of it as a spa day for your socks. Is it Kelly from Lay Family Yarn? She says things are going in the bath. They're having a spa. Yeah. So yes, I think that will do nicely. I should have bought 2 though, because I can only do 1 sock at a time. Tell me, what would you do? Would you knit a sock and then block it, and then knit the other sock and then block that? Anyway, that's a really nice souvenir from Falmouth, isn't it? And my Falmouth Bay yarn. Do tell me what you would knit with it. I told you it was going to be quite short, didn't I? That is me done. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do subscribe if you're not already. I think the next time I come back, it's going to be a couple of weeks, I would imagine. I'm hoping to come back with a floss tube, my floss tube number 2. I will perhaps link that in the description box for you if you'd like to have a look at that, if cross stitch is your thing. I'm definitely off now. I need to tidy up this mess and do a little bit of editing. Do take care. Whatever you're doing, remember to put love into every stitch. Bye now.